Hey there, I'm coming to you from a nursery with a collection of ducks on the top because this has the best lighting in the house, and of course now, even though it's July in Texas, it's overcast and raining. And I'm finally deciding to take the plunge and do this first video for Booktube. I've been on Booktube for just a little bit, been on Bookstagram more the last few years, but I've been really enjoying the long form content on YouTube and realize that's my favorite thing to take in, especially with books also. So I figured I would go ahead and try to take the plunge. I'm nervous, I'm not good on camera, so I have to get used to it. But I wanted to do the Booktube Newbie tag today, just to give me a kind of a structure to start with. So we will just get into that. First question is, why did you start this channel? One of the reasons I decided to was I've had a lot of life changes this year. You know, with the nursery, I have a 6-month-old, and we're finally coming out of the woods of the whole newborn stage. It's been amazing, but also just a huge shift. And so between all that and some other things that have gone on this year, I just really want to have a space to kind of do something just for me. I've missed reading. I've been in a big reading slump until the last month or so. It's come back. And so I just want to have a spot where I can talk about books and have a little time for me to, you know, indulge my little nerdy interests. So it will probably still be in this baby room for the most part because of where the windows are and just having a quiet corner. Mostly just here and this little dog over here that's sitting quietly for now, so we'll see. But I also I've done TBRs on Bookstagram before, but I really love doing themed lists, and I can go down rabbit holes for researching different, you know, topics for books or themes, things like that. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to do on here to structure my reading, is to do monthly challenges or themes that I can research, because I want a variety. I want new releases, I want backlist reads, some nonfiction, and I don't really maintain a to be read big shelf or list or anything like that because it just overwhelms me. So I kind of go with what books I remember that I've really wanted to read, and then if one kind of comes up organically, then I'm going to structure a challenge around it for a month and just kind of go with that. Because I love rabbit holes, so of all sorts. Second question, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? This one's hard because I watch a bunch of these and tag videos, and a lot of people said that's a rough one to answer because it's already been so much content on here. So I don't really have anything unique to bring, I don't think. I do hope to focus on having some nature writing included each month. When I first started Bookstagram, it was mostly books about birding, and so I still read quite a few of those, and so that might be a fun thing I try to include every month. You know, we're talking about favorite bird books or specific species like ravens and stuff. Those are rabbit holes I've enjoyed going down and will probably do again. So that's what I'm thinking, more themed months, more nature writing included. But other than that, probably mostly inclined towards literary fiction, some historical, but there's some genre reads I like too, just for fun. Third question, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I'm excited to try to keep up more with what's going on in the book world. You know, I've been following the book prizes more closely this year and trying a few of the reads, and there's been some good ones, so I've enjoyed kind of tracking those, and you know, I've got the other ones written out for the rest of the year when they're coming, so I can try to keep up with them. But also just getting to see other people put themselves out there to talk about their books and, you know, other things they enjoy. You know, that's my favorite content on YouTube, and so I figured I'll just go ahead and try that out with, you know, nothing really at stake except my self-consciousness. So we'll see. Question number 4, why do you love reading? I've always loved reading. I've had on and off periods like most people, you know, or big slumps, but I think my dad taught me to read when I was 2 or so. He was laid off and needed something to do, and he was a huge reader, and so he taught me how to read. And so I was very much that introverted bookworm as a child, and mostly read as an escape And so fantasy was it for me for a very long time. But now I feel like I've transitioned more to where I really don't want to do escapism anymore. I really want to find it as a way to connect with people, to connect with ideas that are important to me, or, you know, ways of, I don't know, ethics and ways of life that I really want to push myself towards, you know. And so that's why I also want to include the nature writing and, you know, probably some climate fiction, things like that, just help kind of ground me what's going on here and now, and in ways I can live and be a better, you know, citizen and person on this planet. Question number 5, what book or series got you into reading? So like I said, when I was a kid, it was a lot of fantasy series. So I really loved Lord of the Rings. I started with the movies. They were too dense for me when I was in elementary school, but I did end up reading the books and enjoyed them. You know, it feels depressing to have to always qualify it now, but Harry Potter was a big one for me. And it's complicated nowadays, but it was a very big part of my childhood. Cornelia Funke's books, you know, like the Inkheart series, I loved those. And so those were some of the big ones I can think of. But it was really any fantasy I could get my hands on for a long time. And so it shifted from fantasy to where I would read more. I had a phase where I did more family sagas, and then magical realism, that was a big thing I got into. And then more domestic fiction. And so now, more recently, it's more literary fiction and more nature-focused nonfiction writing too. And like I said, a lot of Byrd books. But that slowed down this year because I was distracted by a little baby that we're raising. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite YouTubers? I would ask how they get used to talking to a camera, because I feel like I'm still holding my breath the whole time doing this. I can only guess it's through practice, and hope it'll get easier. But that is one question I'd ask them, or if they never get used to it. And also just, of course, book recommendations, but I would ask more about what books do they stay up like late into the night or all night to try to finish, because I think those are some of my favorite reading experiences. The last one I had like that was Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I remember staying up to about 3 in the morning, gosh, it was a year or so ago, finishing that up, and I think that was kind of the perfect time of day to finish it. So it's left this big heartwarming feeling in me for that book. I may not remember all the plot details because I did finish it at 3 in the morning, and I'm not a night owl by nature. So last question I'll be doing is, what challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Getting used to talking to a camera. Anytime people ask me to do that for any reason, I usually refuse it. I'm much more behind the scenes, and so it makes me very self-conscious. So that, I have perfectionistic tendencies, and so I'm already cringing thinking about having to watch this back, but it's just going to get me used to that discomfort. And just keeping up with the momentum. I definitely find I'm more an ideas person. Like I could probably go ahead and scout out 2 years worth of themes and research all the books and have that done and be perfectly happy, and then never do any of it. So I'm trying to not do that, because, you know, given in a year, half a year, anything like that, I'm probably in the mood for that anymore. So I'm really trying not to go more than a couple, maybe even just one at a time, and then take that last week of the month to think about the next one, instead of over planning and overthinking and then never actually doing any of it. So just like today, I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and film this, and it probably won't be exactly what I was wanting to start with, but it's starting, and that's usually the hardest thing for me. So that's my goals. You know, I'll do a lot of the usual ones I see because I enjoy them too. The to-be reads each month, the wrap-ups. You know, I'll be following a few of the prizes. I don't know the ins and outs of them, but I have kind of followed the Booker a little bit before. There's a few others I want to do. I want to follow the Wainwright prize, because that's more nature writing focused, and I think the National Outdoor Book Award also. And so those will be things when they come around, I'm gonna pay attention to those and maybe do some videos on those, and we'll see kind of what else comes down. I'm hoping to maybe do some like hiking and reading videos, but at this point in my life right now, that might be too ambitious. Because really if I can get 20 minutes to myself in here right now, that's a miracle. So, but yeah, that's kind of the goals for now. So if you are still watching this, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope it wasn't too painful to listen to. So I've been holding this little ducky to calm my nerves. And so we will see. I'll probably be putting up my July video next because I have them here and I have a chance to do that. So I'll see you again real soon. Thanks. Bye.